Wow. Okay. Hold on. This is a very Z review. If this is your first Z review, say so in the comments, because it's... Can't pause it. Can't pause anything. Okay, no. I've got 3 things on the desk, and I have the pile of things that I need to review, and I'm like, all right, let me just hook some stuff up, and I'll see where I end up in the middle of the night. And it's not the middle of the night, but it's certainly not the beginning of the night. Ready? Watch it. Okay. To be... Why aren't you paused? Pause. You paused? Okay. So I started today with the DAC. This is the Stoner Acoustics UDX, and it's been here for months. And I hooked it up to make sure it worked, and it's a USB only DAC, and that's why I haven't used it, because I hate USB only DACs, because fuck drivers. But Windows 7 laptop, that's that right there is my Windows 7 laptop. I do all my reviews on it. This is my Windows 10 laptop, and when shit don't work there, I put it here, which is why it's here and there, because... Let's talk about the DAC first, because I feel like the DAC needs to take a lot of credit for what it's doing. It's a balanced DAC. If you don't know what that means, it means it has... Well, here. We've got a switch between UAC 1 and 2. UAC 1 is limited to like 192, 24-bit, and UCA 2 requires drivers, and then can go up to like 384 DSD, and then, 32-bit. So I have it on 2, and I installed the drivers, and I got it working on my Windows 7. Here's your power plug. It's a power plug. Can't go wrong with that. Why is it... Look at the fucking disaster of this power plug. Anyway, RCA outputs, single-ended. Balanced outputs, XLR. That's it for the back, right? Follow me? Made in Malaysia. Designed and assembled in Malaysia. It's one of those companies that's proud to be Malaysian. Now, here's the front. I sent a picture of this at DMS, which was hysterical. So there's no power button. There's only 3 buttons. A, B, and C. And then it says mode, and then it says filter. Not filter, just filter. So, the way this DAC works is, to plug it in, it's running. USB powered, it's running. You can option it up to have an external power supply, so you could run your Android device to this. I don't know if anybody's doing that. But, USB powered, you turn it on, and let me see, I have to hold C down. Flashing adds orange. Orange means the volume is all the way up. This is a DAC with a volume control. It's rare, but they do exist. Like there's the JDS Labs LDAC. It just is a DAC. You give it signal, it gives you analog signal. You give it digital signal, you're done. This, you can actually... A and B are the volume controls. And I know... Bolzios, why wouldn't they just label that volume down and volume up? I don't fucking know. But if you hold this down, you can see you press it. It's a half decibel increment down and up. And if you hold it long enough, eventually you'll get to orange. It'll shut off if it's all the way down, and it'll turn to orange if it's all the way up. If you don't want to use it with any sort of preamplification, you just want to line out DAC like a normal DAC, you hold C down, and then it'll turn red. So now it's line out, which is the way I'm going to use it. Now C at least has another function. See that filt thing? Watch the pretty colors. Ooh, green. Ooh, purple. Ooh, green again, which is actually yellow. Then cyan, red, blue, and off. Those are as follows. And again, if you're one of the people who loves to play with... Where's the operating manual? For some reason, this lists it default. Like the third one is the default, which is off, which is short delay, sharp roll off. Then green is short delay, slow roll off. Then super slow roll off. Then super extra slow roll off. Low dispersion shot delay, which I think might mean short. And then sharp roll off and slow roll off in all those fucking colors. That's what we're talking about. So if you want to play with the filter adjustments, And I've sat here, and I've sat with other DACs, and I play with the filters, and it's just the way it controls the fucking bits turning into analog waveforms. I'm not a bad reviewer, but I can't fucking tell. There's never been a time where I'm like, you know what? Ah, there we go. Now it sounds great. That's yellow, by the way. Yellow doesn't look yellow. So I'm going to leave it on the default, and I'm going to leave it locked. So it's a good DAC. It's expensive. Links in the description. It's expensive, but it's a good, solid DAC with a couple interesting features. No remote. If you're gonna give me a remote, if you're gonna give me volume control, for the love of fucking God, give me a remote. You'd also need to give me fiber optic, because if you're gonna put this in the living room, you could just put a remote control, XLR, speaker's done. Now, after I got that set up, the reason I got that set up was because I wanted to test this thing. What the fuck is this thing? This is the LOXGie. I'm not making up the name of this. It's spelled LOXJIE. I'm pretty sure somewhere in China they just hit a button and it's like Jeopardy, and the fucking wheels spin around, and then it's like, oh no, it's Wheel of Fortune. It's Wheel of Fortune? You buy a letter? Yeah, Wheel of Fortune, that's what I meant. Who the hell watches game shows? If you still watch game shows, tell me. And LOXGie came out, and okay, so here's the P20. Now the P20, I bought this. I just straight up bought it. And no one's talking about this thing, and they should be, and I'll get back to it in a second. I want to introduce everything else on the table. Because this is a fully balanced input, RCA also input, tube with a balanced output and a single-ended output. And it's got a little control so you can switch between which output you want and which input you want. And then its volume is digital, and it's cute. It's fucking cute. Get to that. And then finally, this was sent to me by a user with a bunch of tubes to try out, and I did swap the tubes, and I ended up going right back to the one he had in it, which is this Raytheon tube. So you can buy this bitch, this son of a bitch, for like $160 on Amazon. Right? Wake up. This fucking thing. Now, I'm going to blame a little bit on the tube, but this fucking thing sounds good. Now, the thing about this is it's not just a tube amp. Like, it's got a little power switch, and it's got a 1/4 inch, and it's got this really nice volume knob. X-Duo does everything. Beautiful build. Yes, yes, yes. It's got the tubes surrounded by this thing. If I could lift the back up, if it wasn't stuck on everything. Everything on the earth is fucking me over right now. You got a little 12-volt DC input, which has the this thing has the longest cable to power brick ratio, and then the cord is like another 7 feet long, like, well, 4 feet long. So this thing is ridiculous. Then you look at the X-Duo, and the X-Duo cable goes from here to here, and it's like tight, and then this is like 1.5 feet long. So the X-Duo is like that much unit power brick wall, and this one's like 6-7 feet power brick, 4 more feet. Just saying, it's just something I'm pointing out. So swap tubes, slight difference in tubes. You got RCA, Mullard, and Sylvania here, and I would love to go into grave detail, but I tried them once 2 weeks ago and I went, okay, I still like the Raytheon best. And it's got line ins, but I'm not hooking a line in. I'm playing Audio Slave through the USB. Through the USB DAC. This has a, I think, up to 32-bit 384 USB DAC, which I don't have it set to that. I never set it that high. I always set to like 24, 192. That's like my limit. It also, and I'd unplug this, but it'd fuck that up. It's not USB micro, it's USB mini. I had to dig through my box. I didn't unpack the entire box when the guy sent it to me because I want to lose as little cables as possible. Oh, Jesus. Zeos, what are you doing? Okay. So, it's a USB mini that you're going to get with the unit. $160 for a good DAC. Fucking good tube amp with, I don't use the words unlimited power often, but let me hold on. Oh, I swappy the swip swap. Hold on. These are the Ursine cables, by the way, that have interchangeable lengths. So like this one's a balanced and that one's a 1/4 inch, and they're both attached to my HD 600s. My HD 600s. They're never going to sell you ever again HD 600s. Keep this song fresh. All right, I'm going to raise the volume on HD 600s. 300 ohm, hard to drive, big tube amps aside. Let's just. That's 9 o'clock. It's pretty loud. That's 10 o'clock. Screaming. Screaming at 10 o'clock. Let's keep going because I like being deaf. You can't touch 12. You can't touch noon. And I've tried it with every like a bunch of headphones, a bunch of fucking headphones. I've tried it with them and I can't touch noon. So, I don't know if it's because it's like a hybrid where it's a very solid state and then it's got the tube. Sounds tubey and has infinite power and is cheap and has a built-in DAC or tubey. Pause that again. Or just plug into your DAC. Now if you noticed on this setup here, I've got the XLRs going into this and the RCAs going into this because I was trying to determine if the balanced set of this side of this Lox-G. Have you looked at the price of this yet in the description? You should probably click it. If I was looking up to see if this balanced in, balanced out tube amp makes a difference if I input it from the balanced outputs of this or the RCA. So that I'm completely fair judgment here because it's the same DAC outputting through two different connections into this, and then I'm listening to it on whatever I feels like. In fact, I don't feels like listening to the 600s at this very moment. Let's put you down. Let's put on the Otors, which are God tier headphones. Yeah, that's a good description. Okay, let's plug that in, and I don't. I'm just not pushing it into the way, but you can just click it in. There we go. So now the big computer, the big computer is outputting USB to this, and now I get to choose on the front, and actually I could do this also. And this is what I have been doing. So let's go to 30, unpause that. Now, if I want to swap outputs, so now output 2 is on, and then I could do this. And it's quieter than the balanced. And it's narrower than the balanced. It's narrower than the balanced. Okay, so at least for the front end of this, using the XLR inputs, the balanced side is better. It sounds better, it sounds wider, it sounds a little more. Let's see, click, output 1, click, input 1, click. Yeah, there's definitely like, so now we go through the menu and we switch the inputs. RCA now. Where'd it go? Where'd the magic go? Where'd the fucking magic go? Oh, wait. I've not in a long time, like people ask me, does balance make a difference? Cios, does balance make a difference? And it's hard to make that call because every headphone's slightly different, and I've never actually had a balanced tube. Now, I'm very certain that this is not a pure fucking tube amp like that thing with a massive transformer, the Dark Voice, or even the Little Dot Mark II, Mark III. But this is the buy of the fucking year, and I made it with one person just showing me that it exists, and I went, all right, Patreon money, let's see. Let's get it in red, too. I had the choice of getting it in black, but since everything is black and silver, well, those are beautiful red, don't look at those, but black and silver and black and silver and black, oh, blue. I said, fuck it, I'm getting the red one. I would inspire you to get the red one. Here's the deal. This sounds amazing when you feed it balanced signal and when you use a balanced output. If you use RCA in, meh. If you use 1/4 inch out, meh. It sounds alright. I think I like the X Duo sounding better. The X Duo, by the way, is literally good enough to say I wouldn't need my dark voice. That's how good the X Duo is. Now, I know that's a true tube amp, and I could swap tubes, and I can get a much more dynamic sounds out of it. But this thing is like palm size, and I could use a DAC in it if I don't want to use another DAC. That's an incredible amount of fucking sound and convenience, and the size is great. So let's do this now. This way I don't have to use the laptop anymore. We'll just unplug that. Now we'll plug this in here. And it auto switches. There's no switch to switch what you want to use. It just is. So now we know that on the Loxgy. Loxgy? I don't know. We'll think of a cool name for it later. Please don't destroy the tubes. They've come very far. Actually, I should move my laptop off the table because it's silver and it's probably fucking up the camera's exposure, because that's what it does. Now we can go back to this and we can compare the two of them. And I already have done this 100 fucking times, but we're going to do it again. And we're going to change songs. And we're going to change songs. The Village. No, it's a good movie. AC/DC. Ooh, Bach. Bach. Concerto number 6 in B flat major 3. Now I feel like an audiophile, a freak. Okay, so now we're listening to, and I'll explain that I even did this. Hold on. I want to say this sounds warmer, but it sounds flatter. Now keep in mind, we're on the absolute best case scenario with this amp. This amp, if you haven't checked, by the way, it's $90. 89 even? I don't remember. Fucking cheap AF. $89.99. No reviews. Be the first person to review this item. I think I will. Well, I'll be that when I could sign into my account. I don't understand. Who's Loxgy? Where'd this come from? What are these tubes? They must be cheap shit tubes. Yet if I switch from this, or switch back to that, there's such a bit of warmth, but it's so narrow. It just feels like everything's shoved together. And I really like the way this sounds. This is I've been recommending this to my patrons in the $10 tier and my private $10 tier for the Telegram. Like, buy this. This was on Massdrop. Buy it. You literally cannot go wrong with it. And I'm standing by that. For $160, you can't go wrong with it. But, and this is a big specific but, if you have a source that is balanced, XLR balanced, and I don't care what that means to you, usually means an expensive fucking DAC. Jotunheim has balanced outputs. Does the fucking Big Knob Studio have balanced outputs? I don't. If you have the ability to feed this thing balanced, and you have headphones that can be balanced, own one of these. Fucking own one of them. There, I just switched. I did a test. I'll lower this down. I did a test where I took the two leads coming off the headphones like this, right? And I just twisted them around together like this. Just fucking... So I couldn't tell which one was which. I just did that, and I looked at other shit, and then I started swapping back and forth. And I could 100% of the time, when this is in balanced input, balanced output mode, tell you the difference, and pick this one every time. It's as close to a blind test as I could do, because I administered it to myself. I'm not that bright. I can't count how many times I twisted the wires together, and just plugged into which one. And I had the volumes, you know, as perfect as I could get them. I'm going to give a lot of props to this thing, because this is a good-ass DAC. I mean, it's expensive. If you said, if you didn't need balanced, I'm still going to say go get the JDS Labs L DAC. But if you want balanced, and if there is something to it, fucking A. Although it is a little weird, but look, you got to buy this from their site direct. Make no money if you buy it. Buy it anyway. Buy a Stoner Acoustics DAC. I'm going to probably drag this thing when I go to like the head-fi meet. This will come with me. The only thing it's missing is the output of fiber optic to go to another DAC, and then I could make my life a lot easier. But XLR outs are great. This fucking thing, I don't understand. Little screen, says -60 because it's all the way down, counts up, you hold it in, shuts off the unit, you hold it in, turns on the unit, you press it once, output 1 or 2, that's 2 or 1, you press it again, input 1 or 2, 1 is XLR, 2 is RCA, you press it again, you're back to volume. That's it. Doesn't get much simpler than that. Plug this in. So I'm sitting here listening to Bach, and I'm on Autors, which the headphone make the biggest amount of difference. That's just fucking known. But there's no way I could put these on someone's head through this $90 tube amp and they'd believe it's a $90 tube amp. I don't fucking get it. And I've not found distortion levels with it. Neither with this one. Like this one, both of these are incredible powerhouses of amps, which when you get to like tubes, like even the little dot 2 would get to like distortion, and little dot 3 was just more powerful, and it was great. $300 something though. 160, 90. Granted, look, if you have nothing, buy this. It comes with a DAC already. You could literally put this in a little briefcase and bring your little USB cable and the power brick, which is super short, and hook up your laptop in your hotel room and watch the worst bestiality porn on earth through a very fine tube amp. You can do tube swapping. These take the, what's the number on this? It's the 12AT7, or I think there's another one here, the 12AU7, AT or AU7, 12AT or AU7. And you can just swap tubes if you want. And I'm pretty sure you could open up and change op amps too, because X-Dual loves to do op amp rolling. And that is a great recommendation, and I do recommend it. However, if you have anything in your future or present that says, I have balanced, or I'm going to go to balanced, buy one of these. Because it's $90 and an amazing little baby tube amp. Like, of all the little baby tube amps, not including this one because it has a DAC, that's a separate entity. But as far as just straight in signal, straight out power, tubey things happening in the middle, holy shit. And it's red and it doesn't look bad. So back to the Terminator OST, apparently Gun Shop / Reese and Alley is now playing. And it's got good, it has a high-res audio sticker. How could it be bad? By the way, those are bullshit. You can literally get those as long as anything produces 20 to 20,000 hertz. That is this whole movie was filmed in mono, by the way, in case you didn't know. The width, the change from going from single-ended or single-ended RCA to balance is, it goes from like in front of you and a little warm and not dull, but just a little, just like that they move the sound there, to balance. All of a sudden now the sound comes towards you and to the sides, and it's just, ooh, it gets a little bit of crystalline going on. Now I would love to know what tubes these are, and I have to pull them out, and I'm not touching them now because they actually are hot. This thing is hot. This whole unit is hot. This whole unit, well, is not as hot. I could touch this. This is fucking hot. It needs more vents than this. I don't know. I've not been impressed by a little baby, a sub $100 tube amp to die for. This is going back to its owner, and my original intention, whenever I buy something to review it, I'm like, all right, review it, sell it in the yard sale. Can I do that now? I mean, it's $90. I'll buy another one. Or you just go out and buy it straight up and get a goddamn return policy from Amazon. Because it's just so... Hold on. There you go. Now this is a soundtrack that'll get my shit pulled off of YouTube because fuck Japan. I mean, fuck Japan. But I mean, this is from the Planeteus Planet ESOST, Dream Space. Go find it by Nakagawa Kutuaru. I don't know how to speak Japanese, but it's just like a horn in a hall, and you could hear just the echo come back. And I've heard this song 100 times in solid states. And a balanced tube doing it, especially on tours, is just... I shouldn't enjoy a $90 tube amp as much as I'm enjoying a $90 tube amp. And if I switch to 1/4 inch, if I pull this out and I do this, and then I do this, and then I do that, and then I do that, and then I swap this. Efficiency, Zeos is the master of it. And then I put it up a little bit because it's going to be quieter. Yeah, cause I'm like, it's just not the same. It's not the same. It's almost like you got a cross feed on, where it's monetizing a lot of the sound. It's still got stereo, but it opens up so big and fucking balanced. If you want specs, look them up. I'm linking to these in the description. Look them up. This thing, for $330, you get a balanced DAC. It's got some options. Too bad it's only USB and the buttons are confusing. There's literally nothing else to say. Good DAC? Yes, it's a very fucking good DAC. I don't know if my nipples are going to get hard and shatter off because of how great it is, but we'll see in the coming months. I'm going to hook this up and have this power. I'm actually going to use the volume control when I review the A5Xs up here. The Atom, the $1,000 Atoms. So this will reappear in the videos. This fucking thing, this is more like a nipple shattering experience, because it's as long as you have to do full balance and full balance, or it's just another tube amp. But if get it and then upgrade the rest of your shit around it, like literally plan around this $90 tube amp. Because, I mean, your dark voice, yeah, but it's not balanced. Nothing is balanced. None of these fucking tubes are balanced. And even if this is doing some weird, funky shit, and it's complete hype and fake, I will take fake shit if it sounds great. And I'm using auteurs and 600s, which are the defining characteristic of tube. And I'm like, yes, this, thank you. And then finally, probably the one that you're all going to purchase, because that's expensive and that's needs things, is this thing. This is just equal to like the little dot and like the dark voice. Dark voice stock tubes and this with a modified tube, about the same. Honestly, about the same tubiness, warmth, infinite power. Just infinite power. I haven't found a headphone to use, past that much, and it's not killing me. And it's so cute. Yeah, no, this is not fake. This is not a joke. This, I don't know what you are, but I love you. And this is good. Wallpaper in the description. If you want every wallpaper I've ever put as a background, join the Patreon for $2 a month. Now, if you want to bid on things, that'll be in the yard sale, which include nothing on this fucking table because I'm an asshole, because I'm not getting rid of that. That's going back to an owner, and I'm pretty sure I have to keep this.
Fill me out.
Okay. Join for $5 a month. If you want to have a private chat where there's like 60 people or so, $10 or higher on the Patreon gets you into that. So you could avoid the public domain chats, and I'll talk to you directly from that, and it's great. And other than that, links in the description, wallpapers, and... Okay.